evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Say, what's that sound you hear? Oh, it's the sound of America getting a little better. You can feel it happening. Last night we played you a clip from an unintentionally hilarious MSNBC town hall in which some pompous airhead reporter tries her best to explain to Trump voters why January 6th actually was an insurrection. An insurrection in which only the police had guns inside the Capitol. An insurrection in which the police welcomed the insurrectionists inside the building to insurrect. Quite an insurrection. Of course, an insurrection that went nowhere, where the leader was dressed in Viking horns and eating psilocybin mushrooms. So we thought it was pretty funny. What we didn't note, though, last night was the moment where that airhead reporter claims that a police officer was killed by the mob that day. Now, if you watch television, you've heard that line so many times that you may not even notice when people say it anymore. They've been saying it constantly for nearly 2 years. Police officers were killed, many of them. Why are they saying that? It's not true. It's provably a lie. It is in no sense accurate. No police officer was killed by the mob on January 6th. Anyone who claims otherwise is always welcome on this show live to explain who exactly was killed. What's that officer's name and how was he killed? We don't expect any takers on that offer. So the question is, why do they keep telling us that? Well, there's a reason. There's always a reason. They're telling us that likely so we won't ask too many questions the next time we read about yet another January 6th protester going to jail. We'll just think, oh, another cop killer getting what he deserves. That's what they're hoping you will think. And they're hoping that because if you knew the truth, if you knew why they're really going to jail, you'd be very concerned. And here is the truth. Joe Biden's Justice Department is imprisoning people for having the wrong thoughts, thoughts that we all imagined were constitutionally protected, as all thoughts are. But don't take our word for it. That's just a right-wing talking point on a cable channel. You can read the court filings in January 6th cases over the past year and a half. And in virtually every instance, federal prosecutors argue in public that the political views of the defendants, not anything they actually did, not crimes they committed, but instead their personal beliefs, what they think, those beliefs are reason enough to put them behind bars. According to Joe Biden's DOJ, for example, Army veteran Jessica Watkins needed to be detained indefinitely because she had, quote, extremist and violent views regarding how to address what she believed to be a fraudulent election. Oh, she was an extremist.
Very Nazi.
It's a term they never explain, but that apparently is now a crime. So we decide what extremist means, and then we put you in jail for being one. That's how that works. UCLA student Christian Secor, that was the guy who sat in Mike Pence's chair on January 6th, is now in prison. And he should be in prison, explained the Biden administration's lawyers, because he had, quote, extremist beliefs and a, quote, history of adhering to extremist ideology. Really? Again, you decide what extremist is and then put me in prison for being one. In the case of Robert Morse, that was the guy who was busted in possession of a Lego set of the Capitol. The DOJ put it this way, quote, it is difficult to fathom a more serious danger to the community than someone who tried to, quote, abort the certification of a lawful and fair election, end quote. The one kind of abortion they don't favor, the aborting of a fair and free election. So in every case, though, the defendant's real crime was not aborting an election. No, the real crime, and the DOJ says it right in the filings, is denying the outcome of the election. It was believing the wrong thing. It was not believing that a senile man who refused to leave his basement during the campaign somehow got more votes than any president in American history. If you refuse to believe that, you're now a felon. Question the system, and they haul you away. Those are the rules now, as hundreds of imprisoned Republicans can personally testify if they could speak. So the legal precedent has been established. You cannot deny elections. And yet, even in the face of the mounting evidence, this is now a very serious felony, there are some extremists who are not deterred. They're continuing to commit the crime of election denial, and they're bold enough to do it on video. Here, ladies and gentlemen, is one of them.
I know we're all focused on the 2022 midterm elections, and they are incredibly important. But we also have to look ahead.